Hi guys, I'm Indrani Khanvilkar and I'm the Director of Sales for mCanvas. Today I'm here to talk to you guys about how do video ads fare outside OTT platforms. Safe to say that video ads take up a lot of marketing budgets, be it back when TV was, it still is, but was more popular, or today when OTT platforms are really popular. Brands love it. A few ads we consumers love. But my question is, are we doing justice to the video content that we're producing? Are we doing justice in terms of distributing them? Let me set some context here, right? I won't play the ad further, but we all know about this particular ad, right? We something that we all love, something that still makes us feel a little nostalgic. um, so if I ask you, did you watch this ad back in the 90s? Most of us will reply with a yes. But there was a print campaign to it as well. If I asked a few people around actually, and I asked them, do you remember seeing this particular campaign? And they were like, maybe they did something like this, but I can't really recall. And that's what I'm getting to, right? Video clearly is a lot more impactful in most cases. Now let's talk about the spin-off that happened for this particular campaign of Cadbury very recently, right? A very cool ad. I personally really like it. But the question is, did you see how beautiful the transition was from the big screen to the small screen? Of course, the user and the content consumption pattern for users have changed. Many users do not use the big screen to see ads anymore. Or video content for that anymore. We all refer to the mobile phone, and the marketer's job was pretty easy when it comes to video advertising, right? They just whatever that they put on television had to be distributed or deployed on video, and it's working beautifully. We have some of the best OTT platforms in the country running some of the some advertisements for some of the best brands in the country, and that transition is great. But my question is that let's not forget the print ad. Let's not forget the reach that print offers or any written content form offers. Back in the day, you could not plug in a video ad inside a newspaper because, technology did not permit. But today, we're all consuming news on our phones as well. So why not use video ads inside those pieces of content? That exactly is outstream video ads that show up on written content or editorial content, as opposed to showing up between video content. Now, why do I want you guys to give outstream a second look? So that brings me to why should outstream videos deserve your attention, right? Because I have some three major points here, right? First, it drives incremental reach. That means that whatever ads that you're running on OTTs, they're great. The response, I'm sure that you guys garner out of those ads is great. But what about incremental reach? What about reaching users that do not come onto those OTTs? Outstream videos lets you access those users, right? Apart from that, it lets you target differently. I'm going to talk to you guys about targeting in my next couple of slides. So let's park it for that. But it does offer different, unique types of targeting while running these ads. And thirdly, innovation, right? It offers you innovation like no other form of video advertising. Advertising on OTTs is majorly passive when the user is just watching that piece of content. But when it comes to outstream video gives you the leeway to innovate video ads, to make them engaging, interactive. I'm going to talk to you guys about a few examples. One example of how we drove incremental reach, one example of how interesting targeting drove value for the campaign, and one of how we sort of innovated the way that video advertising is done. So let me just jump into case studies so that just to bring some sort of relevance out here. So let's talk about this particular campaign that we executed for OnePlus. The intention was to drive users to this particular launch that they had on various different OTTs, right? We're living in midst of a pandemic, so physical launches that brands usually held to sort of showcase their products went digital. They had various different live events where the users could come and see the new product, and so did OnePlus, right, for their Series 9. And organically, they were expecting about, say, 1 million users to come onto that particular live and see the event. They were just wondering in terms of how can they bring in more users onto a platform to see this particular launch. So here's what we did for them. We took the live footage from them, from YouTube, and sort of deployed it across some of the top content websites and apps in the country. So maybe the users that saw this video would not proactively go and see the launch, but they did get a glimpse of the launch, of the live launch, while they were consuming content. And from the 1 million that they were able to procure organically, we took the view count to about 3 million views, right? So this is the incremental reach in the case of OnePlus. In other cases, if you already, sort of executed a campaign on a particular platform, you can negate those users and target users on outstream platforms and sort of drive value and drive incremental reach for your brand. And a campaign like this, we were able to reach about 12 million users only within 75 minutes, because that live launch was only for 75 minutes. That's when we deployed the video across our partner sites, right? Out of the 12 million that we reached, 3 million users actually landed up watching the launch with a VTR of 25%. We also saw an outbound click rate, which is a CTR to the companion banner that you see. The CTRs for something like that was about 5.5%, which still happens to be 2x of the CTRs that you usually see on standard banner ads, right? So this is an example of incremental reach. So let's see something that we did for one of the biggest crypto players in the country, CoinSwitch. They had an ad themselves, right? Wherein their usual funny advertisement that ran on television. Now, like I said, television OTTs provide passive video viewing. What we did instead is that we created a mid-video interaction for the user to engage with the video, and only when the user sort of engages with it, that's when the video progresses ahead. So this involves equal participation for the user to continue watching the video ahead. Let's take a look at the video. Right, it gives you an option to pick, and then you answer, and that's when the video progresses.
सिर्फ 100 रुपए में स्टार्ट कर सकते हो and takes only 5 minutes. CoinSwitch को डाउनलोड करो और बिटकॉइन में ट्रेड करो. Fast, credible, flexible. ट्रेड कर बेफिक्र.
Right, again, a very nice example of how can you modify your video ads, make them more engaging and interactive, and deploy them across various. For this particular campaign, we reached about 7 million users with a VTR of 23%, and drove value and impact for the brand. Okay, so that brings me to an innovative piece in terms of how can we spin the video off in a way that it becomes engaging and interactive. So we've covered the interactive piece, we've covered the innovation piece. Let's talk about this particular ad that lets you target. Let's take a look at this particular ad that we executed for Maza.
ఈ సంక్రాంతికి సంతోషం పొంగి పొర్లాలి మామిడి రుచి మరియు రసాలూరే అల్ఫోన్సోలతో.
ముక్కు మొత్తం చెరిపేశారా? అమ్మా, ఆ ముగ్గు మళ్ళీ వేయొచ్చు, కానీ ఇలాంటి మూమెంట్ మళ్ళీ రాదు కదా. అమ్మమ్మ చెప్పింది విన్నారు కదా, పదండి పదండి.
మాజా సంతోషం పొంగి పొర్లాలి.
Yep. Like we all know, we can do lingual ads on video, right? Everybody offers sort of targeting lingual ads to regions that they belong to. But guess what? What we did is basically targeted lingual ads in the same content, in the same language. So, for example, if this ad sort of ran in Kannada, the ad was deployed only across websites and apps that have Kannada content. Now, if you see the response out here, that's pretty great, right? This particular ad saw VTR of 40%, almost 2x of what the other brands saw, right? So, which clearly means that users like consuming content, be it video, be it display, be it static, in the language in which they're consuming their original content, right? So for example, you are on a Marathi application, and if an ad is targeted to you in Marathi, you're, I mean, you happen to be more receptive to those kind of ads. So we conduct a lot of campaigns that sort of let you target basis languages. So now again, this is a very simple example of how can we target, but let's talk about targeting in detail, right? But before we get there, let's talk about what kind of websites and apps am I talking about, and where will the ads be seen. Something like a Jargon, something like a Bhaskar, something like a Sportskira, a Vogue, an Architectural Digest, a GQ. So a very comprehensive list of different websites and apps that produce a lot of editorial interesting content, is where these ads show up. Contextual, of course, you can run a lot of contextual videos. So for example, if you're reading about, say, different phones to own in 2021, or if I am on a certain budget, what phone should I look at? Think of a OnePlus ad being inserted out there, a video ad, definitely more relevant, right? So that's what I'm trying to say. Do look at video advertising, I mean outstream video advertising, as an option when it comes to running contextual ads as well. That brings me to what's the interesting targeting that I was talking about, right? Let's take a look. We can target or trigger ads basis weather. We've done a campaign recently for a brand that's popular for its soft drinks, and the whole brief was we want the ad to trigger only when it rains. So the ad is around rains, and only for regions where it's raining, that ad would trigger. The other ads, say for example, some ads for a particular handset, which is super premium. So no point targeting that ad to handsets that are of lower prices. So how about targeting or proxying a user to be premium audience, basis the phone that he or she uses, right? We do a lot around cricket scores as well. We are midst of India's biggest cricketing event, IPL, and we are looking forward to the Champions Trophy. We do quite a lot of outstream video advertisements, that are triggered basis cricket scores, or basis a trigger event at the match. We can also do battery level targeting. Again, a very interesting piece of targeting that lets you see the battery percentage of the user and then trigger an ad. Guess what? For example, if you're running an ad for a mobile phone whose battery life is great, how about targeting a user whose battery at that given point of time is low, and saying that, do you run low on battery all the time? Why don't you move on to something like this? So what I mean by all these interesting pieces of targeting that we've stitched together is that do not restrict yourself from thinking of targeting differently, creating ads that are more engaging or interactive, or negating a platform that is so cool and that lets you do so much completely, right? That brings me to how do you run these campaigns. We're living in a world where most brands are heading towards running their campaigns programmatically. Guess what? We do that as well. Trackers, obviously, we accept all of them. But what I want to draw your attention towards is the mode score that we see for all these videos of video formats. We see an average mode score of about 800 for all our video formats. That's pretty much a testimony of the kind of impact, the kind of brand safety that you get with ads like these, right? And overall impact, if I have to say, what does mCanvas really offer or bring on the table? Because when it comes to video advertising, scale is of utmost importance, right? Brands first ask you in terms of how many users can you reach. So today we can reach about 50 million users in a day, only videos. We can execute about 12 million video views in a day, an average VTR of 25% or so, and outbound clicks of 0.5%, which is again 2x of industry average when it comes to standard banner ads. So that's the kind of video impact we can drive across the country. And I'm going to leave you guys with thought that I know we love video ads. I know there are some of the best platforms executing those ads for you. The question is, are they enough, or is there more that you've got to do with your video budgets? So if you're planning a campaign, write to us and we'll be happy to take you through what new can you do with video this time. Thank you.